Hi everyone, SPD64 here, and today I wanted to discuss Rouge the Bat. As most of you know by now, Rouge is my favourite character in the Sonic franchise, other than Sonic himself of course. She's always been a standout character to me, even when I was like 9 years old. A woman who radiated confidence, was intelligent, cunning, strong, and a huge fashionista. Rouge was definitely one of those characters I aspired to be like, and in a way I still do, as sad as that sounds. So what's with the title of this video? Well, I was browsing Sonic Twitter, dangerous I know, and spotted this beautiful artwork by the artist lemon_eyebrows, showcasing Rouge with how she used to look, staring at a reflection of how she looks now, with the caption saying, "I'm nobody now." This post gained a lot of traction and has opened up discussions on Rouge as a character, and given I'm a huge Rouge the Bat fangirl, I might as well jump on this bandwagon. Now of course, a lot of people assumed this artist was talking about Rouge's design, and sure, there is a change, such as her skin being a lighter shade, her bust size being reduced, her chest plate being pulled up, and her back, for some stupid reason, being more covered now. Whilst I'm pretty sure this artist was more so making a commentary on Rouge as a character, I still wanted to talk about Rouge's design because it's always been a popular topic of discussion. During the early 2000s, video game companies did often include a busty female character in their games to appeal to the male audience. And with Rouge, I'm pretty sure this was the same case, despite her personality being well developed and unique for the Sonic series at the time. Though I'll get into that later. Rouge has always been a character to have sexual jokes pointed her way given her appearance. She had a big bust, people online ran with the joke that she was a streetwalker par for the course. Though there were also fans, and even non-fans, who found themselves being attracted to her. So when Sega decided to suddenly reduce her bust size and curves, it definitely caused a stir in the community, and still does to this day. Speaking from someone who's never been attracted to Rouge and more so just admired her greatly as a kid, I will say that whilst I personally don't mind both of these designs, I do understand the outcry to a degree. Rouge having more curves to her gave her a different body type that fans hadn't seen before from the Sonic cast. Though granted, the only female characters in the games at that point were Amy and Cream, so having an older female character who not only had a unique personality type, but also a different body type made the cast somewhat more diverse, at least from a character design perspective. Nowadays, however, Rouge, whilst still having a slightly bigger bust than the rest of the female cast, now has a body type that is pretty much the same as the rest of the female characters, and a paler skin tone, which some people find to be bland, and I can honestly understand that sentiment. But for me personally, I like both versions of Rouge, though her back being covered is dumb and I will never understand the reasoning behind that. Okay, now on to Rouge's personality, which is what I honestly believe was the main point of contention that this artist was trying to convey. When Rouge first debuted in SA2, she was made to be a rival for Knuckles, his total opposite, from her fighting style down to her confident and flirtatious nature, the perfect foil to Knuckles' tough and easily flustered personality. She was a character who played both sides, mostly with her own goals in mind, those mostly being to gain jewels for her collection, whether this is through stealing or via payment by the government for her services. As I stated earlier, she was a character type we hadn't seen in the Sonic franchise before, a very neutral femme fatale. But Rouge was also shown to be very intelligent, determined, and a solo act for the most part, similar to Shadow, but was able to showcase kindness from time to time. While she showed pity for Shadow during their confrontation in SA2, and sadness during the end of the game, she was still a very Catwoman-esque character, someone who didn't want people to know her next move, to always keep them guessing. A certified troll, if you will. It wasn't until Sonic Heroes where she allowed herself to be in a team and formed Team Dark, because whilst a lot of people like to pin Shadow as the leader of Team Dark, I've always been under the opinion that Rouge is the leader. She's the one who initially got Shadow and Omega to call a truce and team up. She's the one that made most of the calls in Heroes, and the one to rope both Shadow and Omega into her missions. And whilst this is still somewhat the case, it's obvious she plays a much more minor role nowadays, which is a shame given she was a main character in SA2. Nowadays, it kind of feels like Rouge is more of an accessory to Shadow. And what I mean by this is that whilst, yes, She does retain her flirtiness and intelligence. She also tends to only show up if Shadow is around. It's almost like she's become the Tails to Shadow's Sonic. Now, before anyone flames me in the comments, I love Shadow and Rouge as a duo, and I believe they honestly consider each other friends, despite previous comments made by Sega. What I don't like is that Rouge has lost some of her individuality by being Shadow's player too. She's gone from being a main character with her own story and goals to a side character who tends to help out the more popular character who also debuted in the same game as her. Now, Rouge isn't the first character to suffer from this, Blaze being another brilliant example of this issue with the Sonic franchise, but it's still a shame for a character who I loved so much as a kid for her independence suddenly become more dependent on another character. Which sucks because Rouge works great as a solo character. I remember a particular issue from the IDW comics where Rouge had a mini solo adventure during one of her treasure hunting escapades, where she found a jewel or something in a village she planned to steal from, but she ended up saving the villagers from rival thieves by using her wits to trick them. That was great! I wish we got more of that, but sadly it seems unlikely. Even Sonic X, she was a great character. She had a lot of moments on her own, and again, she was great. But nowadays, it's just sort of gone. It even trickles down to Knuckles, her main rival and the main reason she was created, because she's not really had any interactions with him nowadays. I think the last time we properly saw them interact one-on-one was Sonic Generations, and they were very cordial with each other. Like, where's the banter? Where's the teasing? I'm pretty sure the last time we got a proper Knuckles vs. Rouge moment was in Sonic 06. I would go as far as to say that I think Rouge has had more interaction with Shadow than Knuckles at this point, which is a shame because Knuckles and Rouge had such an interesting and fun dynamic back in the day, which is another reason why it feels like Sega have made Rouge dependent on Shadow. Whilst I do still adore Rouge and will always be excited to see her pop up, I do get what this artist was trying to convey. Rouge has become watered down, not just in her design, but her personality too. But let's return to the original question that I'm asking in this video's title. Is Rouge boring now? In my opinion, whilst I can see why people would think yes to this question, I would have to personally go on the side of no. Because yes, her design and personality have been watered down, as I just said. However, she is still Rouge to me, and maybe this is just a bias, but I don't know. I can't really say that I think she's a completely bland character now. But I do also side with the fact that yes, she has lost some of her individuality, she is more reliant on Shadow in terms of her appearances in games, but maybe that will change. I mean, in the Shadow Generations prologue, she was on a mission and just happened to bump into Shadow. Sonic Prime, in that series she was pretty great, and she also appeared in Sonic Dream Team without Shadow, so fingers crossed. Maybe they're returning to form with Rouge, maybe she will be a bit more of a solo act again, whilst also still maintaining the friendship with Shadow and Omega. And maybe hopefully with Sonic Cross Worlds, fingers crossed, we get some banter between Knuckles and Rouge, because that's a whole thing in that game. Please, Sega. But what do you think? Do you agree, or do you think she hasn't changed since her debut? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Shout out to my Sapphire tier members, OG Agar, Valen the Jackal, Austin the Saiyan Hog, Adam the Merc, Faye the Giant Panda, Ash, True Blue Surge VA, Little Chef, Shark Team Mecha, Shiro Lobo, Blainstorm 1, and Trey Shells.